you do me a favor and loudly say test?
Test.
So loud.
But that's good that you didn't say it super loud.
Thank you. Siblings, 1, 2. Well, it's a good reminder, my enunciation was critiqued last meeting, I think fairly, so. Feel free to take anything if it was duplicates. Oh, good, okay.
I know, I just.
It's the same. It's the same, yeah. I'm Brendan, by the way. New to the club or new to the idea?
Somehow that's too big a challenge. Yes. I went to eventually hear it. Where that's like. I'm so glad you did. Pass it out, it'll be on.
And available online
Maybe these people can use the fire.
or better and worse. I think she would run the whole organization by hand if she could.
Not like that. Okay, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
There you go.
So,
That was fun.
Yes, and you
Oh,
can sit
that's
on.
nice.
You can sit on. I'm gonna sit up here with you whether you want it or not. That's
Okay.
great. But you can also deal with the groans of the early crowd depending.
But at least I used to be on the side when I put my head like this. Now we.
Right. And that's what you do. Good to see you.
I give you,
Oh, no, I shouldn't say
I can't remember.
your blazer can lend
Chloe,
professionalism
okay, I was
to my
gonna say
shorts.
Chloe. I just have a glowing collar.
Just to come from the blood, I meant to shower, but.
I see them everywhere. It really is helpful because dogs sometimes just blend right in, you can't see them. No, they're great. Hi, good. Chloe, hi. Oh,
I'm gonna say
yeah, it's kind of wet outside.
No, that is not Jesus. I know you don't have much religion. Jesus. You're a little sick. I'm sorry about that.
You want to sit on it?
You look great. You look pretty as ever. I was eavesdropping here in the mirrors. Oh my goodness. Welcome back. You look great. Yeah. I felt so would you recommend it? No, I do in about 35 years. I talked to the existential crisis. That's right. Yeah, usually I think Diane will be here just only doing one. I'll take 2 more. No, put it off my brain. I'll put my video on.
So something that's
Good, how are you doing?
Good. Yeah.
So we decided last week it just kind of dawned on me. How did you see it?
You can just sit there.
Project it that way, they see it.
Yeah.
So makes sense.
I'll get this over here. I watched a little bit of it,
Was it
yeah.
as disastrous as it felt like?
I don't know if I'd go that far. It was a little jiggling.
And then it like the battery died at some point. You just plug it in.
Yeah, and if I come in here with 100% of my phone and do that,
Yeah.
about 20 at the end of the meeting, yeah. But that's right, I'm starting something new tonight.
What, a new little camera?
We're live streaming right You're here.
Yeah. I used to have seeds and everything like raffles and stuff. I love stuff and we get the J's, we get the flickers, but I was pretty They're so much.
My experience as well.
Do you want to do another round? Maybe, distribute them to the businesses, some of them will open them up, some of them won't. Well, there's sort of in between, so, the ones that the Easter egg hunt is gonna go up this week. So, Vicky's gonna like bring the jokes around. Sometimes they only want to hire other
Give it a couple topics and you're right, so it can
I mean, I'm sure they're just like, I think, I honestly feel like, he was able to do that. Also like a little bit less. We should
The Parks Department has been here for
They were down, they were leaving.
But I got like,
I get to like double
What is that going on the screen?
I'm sorry, we're not
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yes.
I'm just curious. I would, yeah. She did, but I just so much. Oh my gosh, I love it. It is great. I have, so I don't know if you saw the new.
I've read it.
I'm really not quite a month ago. Very happy. Yeah. Oh, really? So, thanks for having me. But that was the majority of my senior time, I would say. And then I was a regional where I traveled all over the state. And then now, but I live in the South Seattle. Always getting to the airport and travel. So far so good. It's been great.
Yeah, I mean, if people have committed so far.
Oh, really?
I think we should still.
Well, I missed that. That's all right. I'd rather. I mean, I don't mind. I could watch it with you. Yeah. Is it normally more residents that come okay. About a handful. Another survey with the beach goers. Okay. Because what were you on? You're on the committee for here? Oh, so that's here.
Hello, everybody. I'll try and start on time. We're 1 minute late, so let's get rolling.
Got it.
Oh, you all are going to miss the little shamrock guy. He's gone. I just want to call the meeting to order. The first, this is so nice, Kevin. So, what's going on? I can't see, so I always run amok of what Kevin has done for our PowerPoint, but now he's made it so I can actually see my script, what I'm supposed to talk about. One of the things I just want to make sure everybody knows is in 2025, we have switched up the calendar for our meetings, our day, and our time. So we are going to be meeting on Tuesdays going forward through 2025 at 7 o'clock here. We have 2 meetings, 2 months in a row, skip a month, 2 more meetings, skip a month. So we won't have a meeting in April. But hopefully we keep everybody apprised of what is going on in the community, either through our website or our newsletter. And if you haven't subscribed to the newsletter yet, please do that. You can go on the on our website, and at the bottom of the homepage you can subscribe to the newsletter. And it does, we try and put it out every couple of weeks. And so sometimes it's a little bit longer, but more or less. So that should keep everybody up to date with what's going on. Next one. So our budget, our treasurer is ill tonight, but she has given us a bit of a summary of 2023 and 2024. And I think one of the things that's remarkable, if you look on this slide, is our growth from when we started in April of 2023 to where we are at the beginning of 2025. So just a quick summary, and I've got to say, as we look at these numbers, it is all because of the businesses, and it is all because of the community and the neighborhood. Because we literally started out with $3,000 in a bank account, and we have managed to put on multiple events, grow through multiple projects. And the first year we brought, let's see if I say this right, we brought in about $49,000 and spent about $29,000. Last year with Party for the Park, thank you very much, Becky. We brought in last year about $194,000. And that is a combination of grants, donations, business help, and then we spent a big chunk of that. We spent $81,000. Part of that you can see daily if you look at our East Madison Street. It's, you know, the planters are there. We've been planting more plants under a number of the trees. So everything is filling in. We hope to keep that ball rolling, as well as the tree lights, which work most of the time. Where I feel like I'm the tree light police a lot. But I will say that our lighting contractor is very responsive and comes and tries to fix them a lot. We are putting them, the plugs in old buildings, and sometimes they trip. Anyway, so that is our summary. Next month, May, when we have our next meeting, we'll have a full budget projection for 2025, and I think we're right on track. Everything is reconciling. Diane has been working really, really hard to pull all these numbers together and lead. So I think financially we're in great shape. Okay. The emergency hub folks couldn't come. Kevin has pointed that out on this slide. 2 days of having lights out and power outage, part of a day or a whole day, was a wake-up call, I think, to our household of how ill-prepared we are if there is an emergency. So we are really trying to work hand in hand with the emergency hub to help educate our neighborhood on you know, steps towards safety in case we really do have a bigger event. I think if we had gone 3 days without power, we would have really felt it. And that's not with an earth-shattering, shaking, you know, event either. So they will normally come at each meeting and have about a 10-minute presentation of things for all of us to be thinking about in our homes, and how to come to the hub. And they're always looking for volunteers and people to sign up to be part of the emergency hub system. So if that is something of interest to you, please take advantage.
Hi, I'm Kevin.
I'm on the committee of one at the moment for Friends of the Park. We've got a relationship with the Parks Department, and our first big initiative is at the end of this month, where we are going to clean up this area right around the bathhouse and towards the next apartments down there. And we had a great meeting with the Parks Department. They came out here, they looked at what we were complaining about, and they visualized it. They said, look, line of sight is blocked. We need to raise up these branches. We can create better seating on the beaches. We pointed out the blackberries, and they're like, oh my gosh, we're great at removing back. So I'm very excited. Last month I was excited. I'm really excited that they seem motivated. So my ask is that you guys take a little bit of time on the 29th. Not everybody has to dig and weed. We could probably use people to help sign people in. So I'm just looking for volunteers to show up. And then I'm also, on my little QR code, I'm also trying to get together a committee of more than just me. I have some people like Kip has volunteered to join my committee. And we're gonna figure out what other next big events we're gonna do. And then we also wanna maintain throughout the summer, not just have big events, but when you walk by and you see weeds, I want that committee to be responsible to help clean that up. So that's my pitch. Look forward to all of you being there on the 29th.
Becky, you want to speak to the Easter egg hunt?
Yes. Hi, good evening. We are having the Easter egg hunt. Sorry, I'll come up here so you don't have to turn around. We're having the Easter egg hunt on April 5th so that we avoid the spring break travelers being gone. We want everybody to be here. April 5th, it's going to go from 10 to 12. We do have age groups a little bit more separated with different times so that people can get their kids to each of the different age groups around the park. And we're going to have music, and we have some wonderful donations from Madison Park Bakery, from the Madison Kitchen, from Cafe Flora, and we'll have games and activities and crafts, and we would love if anybody wants to volunteer and get involved, please let me know. Actually, let Cecilia know, our volunteer at friendsofmadisonpark.com. And yeah, we'll need help setting up and tearing down, and hopefully everybody send good thoughts that we're gonna have beautiful weather again like we did last year. And yeah, bring kids, bring grandkids, tell people about it, and yeah. Yes.
About how many volunteers do you need for the entire? What's your need?
Good question. So Red Wagon, one of our sponsors, is providing a bunch of volunteers, so that's awesome. They are like a very fun crew. The Junior League helped us out last year. They probably sent about 10 or 12 people, and then we probably had like another 10 people. So I mean, it was a lot of people because there's a lot of stations. There's face painters, there's the bunny wrangler. We're gonna have the Easter bunny, and they can't really move very well in their costumes. So bunny wrangler will have people running the games and the crafts and things like that. So, oh, sorry. And so, I mean, it's kind of a lot of people. So if we had like 20 plus volunteers, that would be awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, or maybe that's 25.
25.
25, yeah, 25.
25.
I think it's a third. So yeah, a lot of volunteers to wrangle all the children, and we had a lot of people last year.
Hundreds, just like a lot.
It was a lot of people. People were ready to celebrate spring. I mean, I think we had a perfect storm of like weather, people being ready to get out and celebrate, and just we haven't had an Easter egg hunt here for a long time, and it's it was open to all. So I think it was just a really welcoming event, and yeah, we're excited to have it again. Thanks.
I do have a voluntary sign-up sheet to pass around. Great. And we'll be talking about different events as we're going through, so you can kind of get a sense on the top what we need volunteers for, if people can, step in. So the next, I want to speak about a handful of things. Okay. Before you switch the slide. McGilver Elementary School is having its annual fundraiser April 26th. Am I right about that?
April 26th, yeah.
And we'll have their flyer on our newsletter and on our website here in the next couple of days. But one of the things that they are looking for is donations from the community, and that can be a gift certificate that you donate. It can be anything, and you have something to add to that.
I will donate.
Oh, okay. Terrific. So yes, if you have a skill, and if you don't, if you have something that you feel like you could donate, obviously, we really want our elementary school to thrive, and and as we know, there are gonna be budget cuts forever with the school district. And so raising funds within the community is important. April 26th, it is open to everyone. It's not just for the parents of the students there. So, and it's at Tiny Yacht Club,
I believe
is
so.
that right?
Yes, that's
Yes.
correct.
Yeah. So it would be fun if some of the rest of the community showed up for that. Yes, Becky?
Tiny is really cute. It's right on East Lake, and it's a beautiful, like smallish venue, but like really cozy, right on the water. And they had a lovely event with great auction items, and you know, an auctioneer. They actually had the same auctioneer we had at Party Park last year. I think I don't know if he's gonna be there this year, but it's really, really great and a fun night. So
Yeah.
go.
So it'll be on in the newsletter, on the website, but if you can make a donation, please, on their website, there's a place to make a donation, to sign up for a donation at McGilver Elementary School. I'm gonna touch on a couple of other things. One is, we just completed the Little Beats concert series, for kids. Yeah, and that was such a hoot. That there was just a great turnout. We averaged, I think, about 130 people every week. And we did it at Pioneer Hall, and Meg Bartley, who couldn't be here tonight, was the one who organized all of it. And the acts were great, the children were adorable, and we will do it again next year. Meg is putting together a survey and just wants feedback or recommendations for other groups that might come in and sing. I think we did 5 of them, first Saturday of every month. And Pioneer Hall was also really wonderful for a lot of people to get the exposure to see Pioneer Hall. So I just wanted to remind people about that. Here at the preschool, there is a yoga instructor who comes once a week, and there is a new workshop. We'll again have this on the website, but they asked me if I would let you know that there's gonna be a workshop. It's March 29th, so you can go weed in the park over here, do something. Yeah, so the combination might be a perfect day on a Saturday. And then I did want everybody to know that this is live stream, number one, this is live stream. And if you miss a meeting or you want to share the events in a meeting, you can do that by sending them to our YouTube channel to catch up on past meetings as well. The other thing I wanted to be sure people know is that on our website, we try to feature a business every month, and we're gonna continue to do that. Arboretum Court area and down here. And I just posted a feature on the Madison Park hardware store that Anita Carmen wrote for us. So it's always fun to get a little bit of background on a lot of the businesses in the community, so you can have a sense of the history of it within them. Obviously, that's quite a history. They've been here for 40 plus years, I believe it is, maybe 50. So everybody knew Lola McKee, who was the mayor of Madison Park for many, many years, and Adam Hagan, now 5th generation Madison Park resident, owns the hardware store. Okay, sorry, I got off track. And,
it's kind of like the Kevin's cleanup, but this is along Madison Street. If you've ever helped in the fall, it's kind of a redo of that, but it's a spring cleanup. Won't be quite as hard, I don't think, because there won't be as many leaves that have fallen, but still a nice cleanup. It'll be the three blocks from Starbucks down to here. So it's May 3rd. Just a note that on the chalkboard where we have other things listed, it lists it as March 22nd. It's May 3rd. So unfortunately, we won't have a meeting next month to mention it again, but
we'll do it in the website.
But we'll do it on the website. If you just at the last minute decide to come, we meet up at the Bank of America parking lot. And so May 3rd, and hope hopefully.
You know that's opening day voting.
Oh, well, not everyone's a voter.
A lot of people go to the crew races.
But,
Well, bring your little kids, they're great,
Yeah.
wear them out.
yeah, sorry, yeah, it's,
It won't be warm enough for the morning anyway to go boating, and they can go after.
yeah, it's 9 to 12,
Walk
9,
on down
I
to
think
the
it's 9
Mountain
to 12,
Club.
but,
Awesome crew races.
thank you.
And I will say, we already shifted the date once,
Yeah,
Dan put it
and then
up
the next
correctly, we
weekend's
said March 22nd, and then after, some meetings decided to push it out, so, of course, we picked a date, but there is a conflict, it is very hard to pick dates for anything where there's not a conflict. Okay, the garden tour.
And then right after the cleanup, a month later, we're going to have our second garden tour. We had a great one last year. We had about 14 gardens, and we have been organizing it kind of like on the flat part of Madison Park so that you don't have to drive up into Washington Park. So almost to the tennis club, all the way down into Canterbury. So right now we are still securing gardens, knocking on a lot of doors. Your front garden looks good. Is your back garden good? It's a risk. It's a risk to knock on the door. But we're putting that list together. We would love some volunteers. We have our coordinator that's going to be helping us. If you want to volunteer, or if you know someone that might want to volunteer, you get a ticket to go. I think we're going to have probably 12 gardens this year. Make it a little bit more manageable. And if you do want to volunteer, what we're asking is someone to volunteer about 2 hours. So maybe go to one of the houses and either stand in the front or stand in the back. Just be a presence while people come and go. Last year we had about 300 people through the tour, through the gardens. So there's a lot of people, and a lot of it, you don't have to be a horticulturist, you don't have to know anything, just be a presence. And it's a 2-hour commitment, and then you can go and see the rest of the gardens if you want. I think that's everything. I think that's it. And that'll be on June 7th from 10 until 3. Yeah.
Was your garden in it?
My garden was in it last year, and now we pass them this year. Yeah, we're trying to get new gardens every year. Yeah, yeah.
And I would say, if you know of someone who has a wonderful garden,
Exactly.
please,
Exactly.
please
tap. Yes, please. Yes, please. Thanks.
We have a Beautify Madison Park, and I already kind of touched on that. We have planted almost 600 bulbs under the trees and in the planters this year. We have Jacobson Landscape Service who comes and keeps up our planters and the watering during the summer. So we want to expand that. We want to add more planters. We want to, we also do have someone who is going to replace the block planter around the tree right outside of the pharmacy. Just waiting for that to happen, and I expect that to happen, I keep saying that, really soon. But that is also something that, you know, we may come back to the community and say, we're trying to raise X amount of money to add X amount of planters. So just expect that at some point here within the next year. Okay. Music in the Park.
Hi everyone. Music in the Park is coming back this summer, so Thursdays in August. We are working on getting our bands locked down right now, and we are if you're in a band or if you know of a band that you think would be a good fit for Music in the Park, there is a form on our website where people can submit their information, and then in the next few weeks we're going to go through and review everyone, and it's exciting because we've gotten a lot of submissions already. So people hearing about us from previous years and either coming back or new bands to us. So it's really fun. And volunteers, I'll give my monthly plug for volunteers. We have volunteer positions open on the committee if you are interested in the planning piece, or if you're more interested in the running the show piece. We'll also be looking for volunteers day of. So let Cecilia know, let me know, and yeah, I think it will be a really fun event.
And it's 4
Series of
concerts
events.
this year. Yeah,
Sorry.
4 events this year, right?
4 events
Four
this
concerts.
year, so every Thursday, there's only 4 Thursdays in August this year, not 5.
If you haven't been, it's amazing. It's one of the
Yeah, it's really
longest
fun.
standing traditions in the neighborhood. Great for a
Yeah.
date, great family friendly,
Yeah.
whatever you want to do.
Picnic time.
Picnic,
Dog
yeah,
Friendly.
yeah,
Friendly.
very fun. Thanks.
Children's Parade and Picnic, that's coming back this year. Our committee met a couple of days ago, and I don't know if you're aware of what happens with the Children's Parade and Picnic, but it's also pretty adorable. I think we had about 300 people show up for that last year. So they start around Starbucks. Anita arranges for the fire engine from the fire station to come down and lead the parade. We have music, lots of games. Grace has a sack race. You should speak to this. I don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot of fun activities that go on. I can walk up front, that's okay. So yeah, there are snacks. There is, we do popcorn and hot dogs and snow cones. Bamboo Tie helps us out with food, which is excellent. And then as far as games, there's a sack race. We do parachute. So if you remember that from elementary school, when you do the big parachute thing, so we play with one of those. There's a watermelon eating contest that is always really fun to witness. What else?
Water balloon.
Oh yeah, the water balloon toss is really fun. There's a tug of war. We do all ages. We even get like parents and kids involved in it, which is really fun. Watching the dads come in with all this hubris and then walk away with rope burn is always really interesting. But no, it's a really great time. We have a lot of fun with the kids. Last year we had, and I think we're gonna expect again. The dance school, DOS, they come out and they do a little dance lesson and then a dance activity with the kids. They do a demonstration. So it's a really fun time. It's mid-July. The weather is almost always perfect. So, I mean, it has been historically. So yes, let's hope for the same, but it should be a lot of fun.
Great.
Anything I'm missing?
Volunteers.
We have volunteers, yes. Yeah, we need volunteers for the start of the parade where we do the balloons. So we hand out little tambourines and we have a helium tank and we blow up balloons for the kids and we get them all set up. They decorate their scooters and their bikes with streamers for the start of the parade. So we always need folks on hand for the start. Then we also need people to help out with the craft tables, folks to hopefully, I mean, more hands to help wrangle games is always fun, even if it's just helping us get the sacks all set out for the different sizes of people that are going in the sacks and, you know, all that great stuff. But yeah, and the food, obviously, with the different food booths that we have going on, those also take volunteers. So Cecilia is a really great resource. She's our new volunteer coordinator. We're very excited to have her. So she can help out with that, but if you find me before her, please feel free to share your info with me too if you want to volunteer. Thanks. Yeah, that's great.
So I don't know if you've got this yet, but we really need some volunteers. I won't go into listing all the amazing events that we have going on because you've heard them already. But if you have questions about what is it like to volunteer, what's the time commitment, flexibility, any of that, come chat with me. That's kind of a big part of my new role, is how do we fit your schedule, your chaos of your life, right, with what we're trying to do. So it can be a whole day, it can be a committee, it's really flexible. We just want to take your skills, what little pockets of time you might be able to carve out for it. Come chat with me either after the meeting, meet with me at Starbucks, shoot me an email, and I'm happy to fit you in wherever if it feels comfortable for you. So thanks everyone.
It's in there.
Okay.
Want to speak to that first?
Yes, you go. No.
Oh, okay, I'll go first. Another thing we would love to have your involvement. We've started our longest term, kind of biggest project to date, which is to think about what opportunities could we have to improve this bathhouse. This bathhouse houses a preschool, which is an amazing co-op preschool that they kindly allow us to do our public meetings here, but it does preclude a lot of daytime activities. So we're thinking, what could we do in the long term to make this space be kind of multifunctional, things like that. And then what else can we do with the park itself? The shoreline is obviously beautiful and a great place for recreation, but hasn't been updated in 40, 50, hasn't been updated in a long time. At least until Octavia started emailing, and at least got kind of some new hydro-seeded grass going, so that's great. But what we're doing is we're talking to landscape architects, we're talking to architects, we're looking at what's feasible. We've got a grant application into the city to try to get some money to help fund that feasibility work. And then I think we would really begin a large-scale capital campaign over a period of years to potentially do a renovation of this space, as well as a restoration of the shoreline, and potentially thinking about, is there a better way we can connect the two parks? The playground, you know, there's always little kids traipsing across and busy summer traffic and all kind of problems like that. So if you care about the park, you care about the future of the park, you'd like to see more activities here, any of those things, you have expertise in grants, you have expertise in architecture, landscape architecture, you just have time, we would love for you to be involved. This is going to be a years-long project, and so we've got, you know, all kind of opportunities to get involved. Reach out to Cecilia, reach out to me, and this kind of, we're getting this ball rolling. It's been going very well so far, but there's a long distance to go.
One of the things too that, as we hopefully get this grant, he's done a great job writing this grant, but as, hopefully we'll get this grant, and at that point we can really start work on the feasibility studies with the architects and the landscape architects. And a huge part of that is having open houses with the community and getting feedback from the community of what do you want if we are able to proceed with this? What do you want to see in the parks? What do you want to see in a bathhouse? We do want to make clear that we want to retain the historical feel of the building as it is. There is just such a rich history in this bathhouse. There's such a rich history in this whole waterfront area. So we really want to foster that in whatever plans we have. We will, as soon as we are able to kind of open the doors to that project, we will let everybody. Before we go there, I want to do a couple of other things. We have, just because we have somebody coming from the Seattle Farmers Association, and he will be running a little bit late. Yes, so let's go to Wells Fargo. So Wells Fargo, as we know, had quite an obelisk a few months ago. And I will say it was truly the community's response that made a difference. And they listened, and they removed it, and then they brought this present side. And, you know, unfortunately for the people who are the bank tellers and the managers and the bank, they don't really have a say in marketing. And they are hearing and receiving a lot of information from the community. I spoke to Andrea, who is the bank manager, a couple of times. And she said even in her position, she really isn't able to make a lot of headway in the upper echelons. But this will also be on your website, and it is up here. She said, feel free to tell people the best way to communicate and let the complaints from the neighborhood be known to the bank is to do it by email. People do come in and let it be known, but more effectively, if you write an email to her, she said she's available for that. And we now have our own complaint number. So when you do your email, you need to specify that it is, this is the complaint that you're voicing. Yes,
I will get that to you, but she gave me an email contact at the head of the marketing department of Wells Fargo.
You've got it pulled,
So,
and I don't have it.
I will get that to you.
Yeah,
So
let's
please
put it
email,
on the,
yeah,
we'll put it on the website. What, they also gave me a number at the bank, and I called that, and that was worthless. So, she said start with her, and she'll funnel them through. But I'm glad she's got somebody even higher up. Because we're waiting for Johnny Fallon to come, let me address the One Seattle plan and let people know where we are in the scheme of that. And I am sorry I missed the last meeting because I understand there were a lot of people here with a lot of questions, and I know Brendan and Becky know a lot. I feel like I am immersed in the One Seattle plan at this stage of life. 1,300 pages of an environmental impact statement to be reviewed, sort of. So what has happened at this point, and let me preface what I'm going to say by understanding there are people who are coming or are viewing the upzoning of the One Seattle plan from very pro to very against to kind of in the middle. And Friends of Madison Park really wants to honor that and acknowledge that. Most of the feedback I get from people is, can we proceed cautiously? Can there be some guardrails of how this goes forward? And we are already considered an urban village by the 2035 plan, that every 10 years the city kind of revisits and creates a new 20-year plan. What is proposed in this upzone, there were the concerns, and if you've looked at the newsletter or you've looked at our website, we've tried to articulate those concerns. And one of them is that the boundaries that they used to designate what the upzoning area should be did not take into account the fact that we have 350 units at the Edgewater. We have a number of condos and apartments along 43rd. So we already have a number of living units within Madison Park. There are 30 neighborhoods that have been designated for this upzoning. So we are just one of 30. And everyone is concerned with losing tree canopy. Everyone is concerned with parking and transit issues. A lot of people are concerned with ECA areas, steep slopes like Madrona, and there's a variety of different concerns. For us in this neighborhood, probably the highest concern is the impact on the lake, because we are already clay lake bottom where we are, and wanting to be sure if there is this increased housing that we have the infrastructure that is already either in existence or in the pipeline to manage that kind of growth, and so we don't cause issues for the lake, for the fish, for public safety. And we got the final draft of the environmental impact statement and were given a week to respond. We had never seen the initial draft. And that's been one of the complaints of every single neighborhood, that this has been proposed without sufficient notice to the communities that are to be impacted. Given that we only had a week and we consulted with a land use attorney, and these concerns sounded legitimate to her and they felt legitimate to us, we filed an appeal with the city to have a supplemental environmental impact statement done, so we can be sure that part of this plan is taking into account the lack of infrastructure here. We are an old neighborhood, and as a consequence, we have old piping. And the city is working to upgrade all of this, but it's not fully in place yet. Yes, Grace?
I have a two-part question. I don't know if you know this, but how is urban village defined, and does this appeal effectively serve as an injunction? Does this change the timeline at all, or is this going to be addressed within and probably resolved before the plan were to go into effect?
So it does put a pause on it going to the city council for a vote. Okay. We filed an appeal. Numbers of people in the Mount Baker community filed appeal. Hawthorne Hills filed an appeal. Madrona has been in touch with us. Ravenna has been in touch with us. And then there's Wales because of the down the line impact, potentially, you know, we're not just looking at Lake Washington, we're also looking at Puget Sound with this. So it does put a pause on it. We walked the neighborhood, our committee walked the neighborhood with Joy Hollingsworth about 3 weeks ago. So she could see what our concerns were and where there's potential sewage overflow that could potentially be going in the lake at this point. We're trying to get clarification of that from the city. That's one of the reasons for the appeal. So she also shared with us that there are a number of people on the city council who are reluctant to make a vote on this by that June 20, no, it's earlier than that June date for the state legislature, HR 1110, to go into effect. And that may be what happens in the end, not in the end, in the interim, I should say, that June deadline may come and go and HR 1110 goes into effect, which does increase the potential of the number of units on a lot, but it doesn't address the height. And what has happened with the One Seattle plan, for example, is that the business district can go up, I think we're 55 feet, not 65 feet. We are presently zoned to go up 40 feet. And so the same is true along 43rd, where all the apartments and condos are. Those units already are designated to be able to go up 30 feet, 40 feet, 30 feet. I'm sorry, I should know all this, I've been looking at it so much. But that may just be paused, and she thinks there's going to be a year of trying to figure this out. So I know we're all, and I feel kind of clutched, you know, wanting to be sure we don't lose our ability to respond to the city. So we have a pre-hearing conference this Thursday, and at that hearing, at that conference, we will figure out what the next hearing will be. It's a hearing for a hearing, and we are working. Madrona wants to work with us. And a number of the neighborhoods want to kind of help support, so everybody's working on this together. So we all know growth is going to come, and that's not a terrible thing. But we just want to do it where we're not jeopardizing the community and we're not jeopardizing our lake, which is a huge asset to us. Yes, Becky?
Can you give a tiny snapshot of the meeting that happened right after our last community meeting? Because people were very concerned about who was going, who was representing us, and I think that
Yes.
Since you watched it, just a tiny little
Yes.
snapshot of what happened.
So at the last meeting, there was a meeting scheduled in the middle of February, a few days after our neighborhood meeting, and so some of you know I was pretty wiped out sick with the virus, and so I did not end up going to the meeting, but I watched 5 hours of the meeting on and off all, but 5 hours of the meeting in front of the city council. And that was an opportunity for different people from different neighborhoods to come and talk about their concerns. And they had, I think, 260 some odd people sign up to speak. They got through like 140 people before, after 5 hours, they had to call it quits. I would say, I don't think it was a terrible thing that we weren't there. Because it was good to kind of hear what most of the communities were saying. Most of the comments were either very pro high density, or concerns about tree canopy and losing trees. I mean, there's conflicting laws within the city, and one of them is to increase tree canopy to 35%. Potentially, this One Seattle plan reduces it to 20%. So that's a big differential, and so that was a big concern of a lot of people. And everybody got their 2 minutes to speak, but I felt like it was honestly really effective to have Joy come and just see what we're talking about here. And we are lucky in that she's familiar with this neighborhood. She grew up coming to the beach, to the park, with a lot of friends over the years. So she knows about our neighborhood. Anyway, so that's where we are. The first hearing is on Thursday, and I will post what the following hearings are. We are doing this on a Zoom. I don't know if there'll be a hearing in court, but I will keep people posted. Okay. All right, now we have a moment for Johnny has shown up. And I will say that he is going to stay afterwards if anyone wants to, has any questions.
Yeah.
So I'm going to let you.
Yeah, I think that was the main thing I was going to say. I'm not going to take up too much time, because I know in the past, at these meetings, Myra's taken up a lot of time talking about this, and we've been talking about it for almost a year now, I think. And we put a permit in for 42nd Street, and it is now public comment period, which Friends of Madison Park has very gracefully made a whole page on their website about how to email a comment to the city, whether good or bad. We kind of want to hear it all. It's not a for sure thing yet, of course not, but I don't know, we got some confidence, I think, going on. And like she said, I'll be staying after the meeting. So if anybody has any questions or wants a little bit more info about it, I'll be here. I'll be hanging out. So, yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so he will be here.
Yeah, I'll be here.
To answer any
Yeah.
questions.
But do you know, when the decision will be made, yes or no?
Sure, that's a fair one to ask. The public comment period is about 2 weeks. So we're hoping for about 2 weeks after that. So we're thinking mid-April, somewhere around there. Yeah.
So the deadline on commenting is March 17th?
Yes, thank you. Yeah.
So we do have there, up in our banner of the different events and information, there is the farmers market page. Also, it went out in the newsletter as well.
Awesome.
And the public notices are posted on different locations, and there is a QR code there that you can go and also ask questions.
And there's also a template on your guys' website of how to reach out. You know, if you kind of just want to click a button and do it. It's cool too.
So what would be a reason that they would deny the permit?
If there's overwhelming amount of people who say that they don't want it. By no means do we need like 100% support. They just kind of want to see that generally community members want it. There are specific criteria, and like we need this specific amount. It's kind of just a bit nebulous, a little bit of the city saying, all right, it seems like a lot of people want this. Or it seems like a lot of people don't want it. And then they say no.
But it really is primarily whether the neighborhood is pro or against.
Totally. And we as an org feel like the exact same way. We don't want to be super antagonistic. If majority of people don't want it, then then we don't want it. You know, it's not the point is to make neighbors dislike each other or us either. So yeah.
So we
Any
should also
involvement was
say
good.
this is a pilot program that we're going to try it for the summer. Again, we'll do a survey at the end of the summer and see people's responses. When we sent out the initial survey, there were about 700 people who responded, and over 90% overall were in favor of the businesses. Over 80% were in favor of somewhere neutral, and there was, I can't remember the percentage, but it was, you know, it seems that it is generally a welcomed thing, but if you do have specific questions, he is going to stay afterwards.
I'll be here, because there's obviously a lot of nuance and a lot of other sorts of information. Majority of like the frequently asked questions stuff, you guys have a very nice fact on the page about it, times, locations, et cetera, stuff like that. If you have any specific questions or nuance, I'll be here for a little bit after and answer questions as best as I can.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I think we did it. This is, we made it through another meeting. This is a little bit of a personal thing, but to share, but I know that a number of people in the community knew Carlos Scambiuzzi, who was such a huge part of our neighborhood, such a joyful person, and he passed away a couple of weeks ago. And one of the things that they are doing is donations for a memorial tree. If you go on the Seattle Times, that is an option, and to have a tree or a grove of trees. And it's something that I think, with the history of all that he has supported in our community, he has been wonderful with us, working with us on the bathhouse restoration and renovation work, and on the farmers market, and much, much more. So I just, I know we lose people in the community. He was an extraordinary part of this community for many, many years. So that's just my little personal conclusion, I would say. Thank you all for coming. More fun to be here than watching TV. Garden tour.